I was reading through some of the comments this morning on the YouTube channel and received one from Stefan in Stockholm, who suggested that we had a walk in San Agustin. And as San Agustin is just down the road from where we live, we thought it's an ideal opportunity just to take a little walk. So, as the sign says, welcome to San Agustin. Posted a video earlier of Calanova, which is the village we live in, and there's the monument. So we're actually in San Agustin now, so we've gone underneath the motorway bridge there and we're in San Agustin. So just behind me we've got the sign which says welcome to San Agustin. It's in Mallorquin, so it's doesn't look quite the same as I'm saying. Just around the other side, this is our local sports centre. There's a gymnasium here, swimming pool here, all the facilities that you'd expect. Basketball courts, swimming pool, fantastic resource right on our doorstep. We're going to be walking down the hill. We're going to go down to San Agustin, and at the bottom we'll go past the Calanova yacht marina, and I'll mention Cascatala as we're walking down. So besides the sports centre, just across the road we have this football pitch, quite a large football pitch. It's a sand pitch. Just looking at it at the moment though, there doesn't look to be much sand there, so this obviously needs a little bit of work on it, but this is the original sports stadium for Calanova. Looks as though it needs a bit of TLC there. One of the other places that someone asked me to video was the Belvedere Hotel, Belvedere Park Hotel. Has changed its names over the years, so it used to be known as the Jumbo Park when we first came to live here. It's quite a large hotel in San Agustin. Has a really good swimming pool, and during the winter months they often do lots of work here, so they have been busy again getting it ready for the potential tourist season, which could be starting in May or even sooner. But Jumbo Park looking quite good. You might be able to see they've got the SOS Turismo sign out, save our summer. Things are looking a little bit more promising now though. Every time I read the paper, it's good news rather than bad news as far as the tourist season is concerned. And we're now into March. It's the 1st of March, so happy St. David's Day to all the Welsh people who might be watching. But it's Baleares Day, so it's a public holiday here in Mallorca to celebrate our islands, the Baleares. So we were just going to carry on walking down the hill into the village of San Agustin. Again, it's one of these places where there is no footpath, no pavement to walk on. So cars do come up here quite quickly, though they've changed the speed limit to 30 kilometers per hour. A lot of people don't observe the speed limit on these roads. This set of steps takes us down to San Agustin, but it takes us by the school I used to teach at, BIS, many years ago. And this used to be a bit of a dirt track. Some of our students used to ride up and down it on their motorcycles. Mark Holstein, if you're watching, I think this might have been the place you went up and down on your motorcycle. And right next to it we have a children's park. There used to be a hotel here, and one day we were told that they were going to blow it up, and we brought all the children outside to watch them blow this hotel up. It went down with a bang, and there was a huge cloud of dust which enveloped the whole area. I might have a video of that somewhere. I'll have to see if I can look it out. So at the top of those steps, this is the hotel. It's now called the Blue Bay Hotel, and that was actually right next to the school. So as we look down, actually looking down at the school, BIS. Looks as though they've put a new roof on.
Yeah, that's something they've been working.
Here's the views just out to the sea of San Agustin. If you stayed in the Blue Bay Hotel or the Belvedere Park, then maybe these are the steps that you've walked down to get into San Agustin. Just at the bottom of the steps there is a church, a local church, and you walk around the church and you end up on the main street. We're actually going to walk down the hill. Again, it's one of those places where there isn't much of a pavement to walk on, so it's a little bit more hairy. It's a quiet day today. So this is the hill that takes you down to what used to be known as Pepe's Corner, which is in San Agustin. It's where San Agustin meets Calanova. They actually widened the road a little bit here, enabling the cars to park on the yellow line. So we've walked down the hill, but that's the church down there. What used to be Harbour View, the home for the elderly, and we're going to carry on down. And we'll go back past what used to be Scott's Corner and Shubidua. So just in front of us is where Scott's Corner used to be. Many of the pupils from BIS used to go there, and next door to that was Shubidua, but unfortunately the roof collapsed on Scott's Corner, and so it had to close, and in the process Shubidua had to close as well. But fortunately for Dulles, there was a restaurant literally across the road that he could move into. So Shubidua is literally across the road from where it used to be. He has a much bigger premises. He has been doing takeaways. We've had a takeaway from there, but we have some great food there. We really enjoy coming, and we're always made very, very welcome. It's actually I think perhaps the first restaurant we ever visited here in Mallorca. It's a very sad looking building in front of us. Up until the last few years was actually a bank, which was La Caixa. They then moved down the road. But when we first came here, it was Pepe's Bar, and behind Pepe's Bar there was actually a theatre, and people used to come on a Saturday afternoon, and it was a little bit like a karaoke. It was where you could come and just perform, and it was very popular with the English residents, international residents. It didn't have to be English. But it was a really good place to get together with other foreigners and to enjoy an afternoon of fun. Sadly, the theatre closed. It was called the Mallorca Music Centre, and the Pepe's Bar closed. It was taken over by the bank. The bank decided to move, and it's just been left derelict ever since. So hopefully somebody will eventually do something with that. On the opposite side of the road we have what used to be the Uto Palace. It used to be quite a nice hotel. Again, that's changed completely. It's now called Bendinat Mar. It's no longer a hotel, it's just some classy apartments. As we walk down now into San Agustin. So I'm sure you'll recognise those people who know San Agustin, lots of things, but you'll also notice lots of changes. So the travel agent here has changed. This used to be the paper shop. Come to buy our local newspapers, the Mallorca Daily Bulletin. That closed a few years ago. So as of tomorrow, the bars will be able to open their terraces. People will be able to sit down in small groups and have a coffee or a beer, or even something to eat. So many of the places that we're seeing closed today will hopefully be open tomorrow. Walking past the greengrocers. One of the places that has sadly gone is the trattoria. Has a fantastic terrace, but unfortunately it closed. Nothing has opened in its place, so it's still closed. And next to that, just down the steps there, the Indian restaurant, was the Nawab, another place, fantastic views out over the sea. Both appear to be closed now. Hopefully something's going to be taking those over. And on this side, we're just walking past the supermarket and the gymnasium up there. Gymnasiums are able to be open. And just coming to some steps, and the steps will lead us back up to the church that we saw earlier on. Someone did mention the catering school, which used to be down this side. I can't actually picture it now, but I do remember it being there. So students who went to BIS will remember this as 2EO. It's now called Mojo Beach. Again, it's a place that's closed today, but hopefully it's going to be open tomorrow. They've got mostly terraced areas, so they can open fairly normally. And just across the road here is the park. And we arrived in Mallorca 35 plus years ago. This wasn't a park, it's just a piece of wasteland, and they built the apartments at the back and then put a park here for the children. Across the road we have the beach of San Agustin and Calanova. These are the steps of the beach to San Agustin, and just to the side of it, something that many of you may not have seen, but they've now installed on lots of these beaches that have difficult access. They now have lifts, so there's a lift here for people who have difficulty getting down these steps. But the beach, I guess you remember, we'll just have a little wander down just to show you. So this is the beach of San Agustin. It's only a very, very small beach, but they've now extended a little promenade around there, so you can actually walk around a little bit further. But this is the beach that the school used, and particularly for summer school. In summer school, the children would come down here and they could play in the waters here, bring a dinghy down, and it's relatively safe. I have got a video from last summer when we came down here and we did some snorkeling around this beach. Quite popular with the birds today. There's one of the ferries that goes out of Palma to the mainland. Brings trucks with food and other necessities for the island. Next to the beach that we've just been on is the port Calanova, and again it's another small port, but was in the past patronised by the King of Spain, who used to enjoy his sailing, and this is one of the places he used to frequent. We'll just have a little look around the port, have a look at the boats. We can actually walk down this ramp here. There are some steps to go down. So the bar and restaurant is really quite a pleasant place to come and sit. And from tomorrow, I'm guessing they will be open. This is the Bugambilia. Not big boats here, relatively small ones. But they do sailing classes from here as well, so it's used by schools on the island. They do have some residential areas as well, so people can come and stay here to practice their sailing skills. Years and years ago, a friend of ours actually had a gym in here, Lou Ravel, and so I used to come down to the gym here. That's a long time ago though. So that's the road in front that takes you up to BIS. We're going to walk along this way. Horacio used to manage the kitchen at BIS, used to live along here. But what I'm sure many of the BIS students will remember best will be the kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Jabres, who had a Jeep, a yellow Jeep if I remember correctly.
And a dog.
And she used to pile the kindergarten children onto the Jeep. They used to hang on, and she used to bring them down here to her house, and they used to play in her swimming pool. It's quite unbelievable now that that's how things were back in the day. There's a saying, back in the day. Certainly wouldn't be allowed now. Still lots of businesses along the front here. Many of them changed hands. I think nearly all of them have changed hands. And some of them are sadly missed. Port of Call. Fish and chip restaurant on the corner there, that's changed. And what used to be Ferries estate agency is now a cancer support shop, which is actually open. The Panaderia, that's one that has been here, I think, ever since we've been here, so that's something that's been a constant. Come down here, get your fresh bread. And next to that is the San Marino bar, and I think that's been here for a long time. It's a different view of the port of Calanova, so you just get a perspective of how big it is. Perhaps one of the biggest craft down here. Back on the main road, some of the locales here empty, including the paper shop that used to be just here. And when we get to the Pharmacia, this is where we change municipalities, so we're going from being in Palma to being in Calvia. Again, it's always surprising. I noticed before that there is a public access here, which says it's a public access to the seashore. So we're just going to have a quick look around, see what's down here. So I said in one of the videos yesterday, there's always surprises. This is even closer to home, and this is a place that we've never been to before, and this is literally down the road from where we live. And there's a little path here which is going to take us to the sea just by the side of the Calanova port. So you've got a trig point. It's a little bit overgrown. Don't think it's used very much. What does it open out to? Lots of rocks here, sea defence. This is just pointing out the prickly pears. You wouldn't want to fall in that. It opens out onto a lovely little area. The sea is looking a little bit rough today. Other parts of the island, the surface will be out. So this is another little gem of a find, so very close to home. Allows us to come round to this part and a totally different view of the Maricel Hotel. So what we have here is the Maricel Hotel. It's quite an exclusive hotel. A few years ago I used to have a shop across the road from here and didn't really understand what all the fuss was about, but later discovered that Bill Clinton was staying there. Two people walking around, so I don't know if the hotel's open. I can see someone on the balcony up there, and I've just seen somebody else walking a little bit lower down. And he just found a nice little perch. She wants a photograph taken. So in 35, nearly 36 years, we didn't know this existed. The sea's a little bit rough today, it's a bit windy. We've actually got a great view from here of the Marivent Palace, the palace where the king spends his summer holidays. This is the Marivent Palace. This is where the king comes to stay, usually during August for maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Go sailing and spend his time in this palace. And it overlooks the bay here of San Agustin and Calanova. The sea is really picking up, waves are getting bigger, and we've just had a little bit of a splash. The sea is looking quite exciting at the moment. That little alleyway was a gem of a find, and some place we can always go to in the future. I'm just going to go a little bit further up here. This area is called Cas Catala, and we're just coming up to the road side of the Maricel Hotel, and then on the right hand side we've got the Hotel Zero, and just around the corner is actually where we used to have our shop, Go Logo. Many years ago now, before we moved to El Toro. When we had the shop, this bar restaurant was a place we came to occasionally for a menu del dia. The interesting thing there was they had a tree actually growing inside the restaurant. The Maricel Hotel is here on the left hand side. Many years ago they decided they needed to expand, so they expanded over the road onto both sides of this road that's between. So we've got two parts on the right hand side of the Maricel Hotel, and to link the two sides together they built a tunnel. It appears that the Maricel is open. So we're on the walkway now. This walkway stretches all the way from here in Cas Catala, goes through San Agustin, and going in the opposite direction goes towards Portals now, so then Palmanova, Magaluf, and really I suppose out as far as Pagera. And across the road we've got the number 1, which there's lots of numbers as you go along, so you can mark how far you've walked along. It's a really useful walkway to have, keeps you safe, and in parts further on there's some exercise machines and diversions for the children. So Cascatala up there is very much a residential area, and we do have a beach. Again, when we had the shop across the road, Go Logo, we used to come down to the beach bar and sometimes have our lunch here. It's called the Bugambilia. They actually closed the gate off that takes you down to the beach. I'm surprised they're allowed to do that, but just a little bit further on we can get access to the beach. As we saw on the San Agustin beach, they had a lift, and there's also a lift here for those who are not able to make it down the steps. We can make it down the steps though, so we'll just walk along here. We'll be able to look down onto the beach and see the waves crashing on the sand. In the summertime, this is a beach we like to come to. It's a nice sandy beach, and great for swimming and snorkeling. It's a little bit on the windy side today. And there we've got a different view of the Maricel Hotel, Bugambilia restaurants, and around San Agustin, Calanova, out to Marivent, and the Marivent Palace in the distance. So there's a takeaway service here that's been in operation, and the hair salon. And as you go around the bend here, you come to Ilietas. So on another video we'll have a little walk around Ilietas and the beaches that are there. Just heading on our way back now, and just going to take the opportunity to point out where my shop used to be. It's now a charity shop, Alan Graham charity for kids. Closed today, but 3 police motorcycles parked outside. The police have just crossed the road. I think they've gone into the hotel. We're going to make our way back towards the car, but the way we're going to go back is up this hill, and we're just going to go past what used to be BIS, because I know many of the former pupils watch the videos, and I'm sure they'll be happy to have a look at what the school's like now. So these are the steps that lead up to the school. Again, when we first came here, it was all a little bit rougher than that. It's where some of the students used to come and smoke. Just down there, next to it, what's now the pharmacia, the chemist shop, was actually a supermarket run by the Bacher family. It's now the pharmacy. So we're just going to go to the top of the road. We're not going to go up those steps, we're going to go and turn to the right, which is where the school is. So, Camille de Son 12s. And this is where Baleares International School, as it was known then. When we first came, it was owned by Pat and John Long. Sadly, John died soon after we arrived. and the school was taken over by Barry Wiggins, who became the owner of the school for many years while I was there, and it's now owned by a British company, Orbital Education. The part on the right here was the art centre. Many years Ken Orton, that was his domain, and next to it was the pottery room, and up above were the labs. So this was my room, the chemistry room, and Cas had the room behind. The room in front used to be below the swimming pool. The swimming pool was filled in. That became the computer room, the IT room. So that's where I used to be buried for many years. It's now all gated off. Scouts used it for a time. It's the entrance to the annex.
And I will be here tomorrow because I still teach 1 day a week here. So Tuesday's my day, so I'll be here teaching music again tomorrow.
The steps just down here lead down to what used to be the scout hut, and this little building here we turned into a dark room, and we used to do developing. I think maybe some of my equipment is still in there. When we came here, originally I came to visit the school in 1985. This was not a made-up road. Had been a hotel, but this was a dirt track, and quite amazing that it really existed. So it was tarmacked in the time of Barry Wiggins. So this has always been like the car parking area, and this used to be the swimming pool. That was filled in before we arrived, and became known as the Pine Tree Terrace, where shows were put on, and so that was the stage for the shows. And the block there would be the bar, so people could come and have a drink there in the interval during the shows. The school's changed its name from Baleares International School to Baleares International College, and it's now gated, so it's a little bit more secure, so that's good to see. The top floor was where the boarding section was. At the beginning of the video, I spoke from the top of these steps. Spoke of some of the students riding their motorcycles up here from this end. It's actually quite steep. Unfortunate for us, they've now put steps here, so it's a bit easier for us to get up. I've actually seen people riding bicycles, pedal bicycles down here. Very bumpy ride. Gate here to the right used to go to the changing rooms. And then the gate up above here to the right was another entrance to the playground.
This is where year 3 and 4 come into school every morning. So I have to stand here and welcome them in with the spray for the hands.
So this is the rear view. The top floor at the end here would be the apartment of Mrs. Kennedy. She was the house parent. And one clear change is they've painted the playground floor, marked out all the different areas. Anita's just pointed out to me that there's now a fire escape on the top floor. That wasn't there when I taught here. And in the far corner of the playground there's actually a ramp. The pictures here apparently are going to disappear soon, so this will be one amongst the last of the photos of them. Years ago Ken Horton did a big mural. That I think has been painted over many years ago. At the beginning of the video I mentioned Cantapra, and I forgot about it on the way down, so now we've got to the top of the steps from the school. Can explain to you why Cantapra is significant. We used to take groups of children from school to Cantapra. I think it's owned by one of the banks as a part of their foundation, and if you go into the grounds of Cantapra, you walk a little way, there's an open air swimming pool. So on one or two occasions we used to have our swimming galas there, and it was just a short walk from school and a short walk back, so it was very convenient. So that's Cantapra for you. We're now going to make our way back up towards where the car is and go home for a cup of coffee, I think. I hope you've enjoyed our little video and tour of San Agustin and Cas Catala. If you have, please share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed yet to the YouTube channel, then please do, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
And we've got some coca and some round bread for lunch today. Bye.